Certainly, Rachel Zegler has become one of the most despised people in the entertainment industry in a very, very short time.
Another flop. Yet another flop for Rachel Zegler. Like, at some point in time, you got to start scratching your head and wondering, why are people putting Rachel Zegler in movies? Rachel Zegler does not bring boys to the yard. In fact, she scares them away. All right. She's like an old lady, a bitter old lady with a water hose, just screaming, "I get away from my yard, you bastards." Like, that's basically what Rachel Zegler is doing when it comes to these movies.
I don't need your business.
Sold as the next big thing, has never had at all a blockbuster hit. Like, none of her movies have been successful. So Disney banking big with Snow White and, of course, Rachel Zegler is really, really stupid, really, really dumb.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
I can't believe it. I very much had no interest in seeing Rachel Zegler in any movie.
Rachel Zegler has been canceled from the Snow White movie.
The Rachel Zegler effect has begun. I have a sneaking suspicion the strikes are only a cop-out for the fact that she has had so much negative press. She is certainly one of the key reasons why the Snow White movie is absolutely doomed.
Rachel Zegler's Y2K bombs at the box office following Snow White backlash.
The winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. Despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see. And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
No longer 1937. It is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
And to everyone who hates when I win,
This is a disaster for them. You can see the weekend domestic chart. Moana 2, Wicked, Gladiator 2 in the top 3. Got to go down a little bit to see Y2K from A24 at 2.1 million. I guess that's not a surprise when you hire the most unlikable person in the entertainment industry.
Y2K is a smash hit.
We're actually going to this New Year's thing. It's going to be a total show.
44% all critics, 37% top critics, and that scores just the amount of people that think it's above average.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no Prince, or a different kind of Prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie, right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are releasing our final report on the Y2K computer problem.
Everyone's here.
We will experience no major national breakdown.
someone's on the net.
That's pimp as hell.
You've got mail. Breakdown, 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 breakdown.
Y2K, 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 Y2K,
They made a video and everything. That's crazy.
Breakdown, breakdown, breakdown.
Ooh, they're combining or something. Oh, snap. Think they'll still do graduation?
Y2K.
Check out Y2K in theaters.
Now!
Please.
Please!
Really, we do actually really need you guys to see this movie.
Rachel Zegler being the biggest name in the cast, and it is a flop.
This movie had a $15 million budget, and it has only made $2.1 million domestically. By all accounts, this is a huge and utter failure at the box office. And it's another Rachel Zegler flop, let's be real. She was in West Side Story, which didn't perform well. She was in Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which performed so badly in theaters that it went to streaming like 3 or 4 weeks after it initially released. She was also in the new Hunger Games movie, which compared to all the other Hunger Games movies, did relatively poorly, even though I believe that movie...
It was supposed to be a guaranteed win. A billion-dollar classic reborn with modern magic. But instead, it imploded. Disney's Snow White remake didn't just flop, it detonated. Behind the glossy trailers and smiling press tours was a production teetering on chaos. And the deeper you dig, the messier it gets. From backstage drama and ballooning budgets to online fury and rumored lawsuits, this is the story Disney hoped you wouldn't hear.
I want to say something about this, but it's not what you think it's going to be. Don't look at me all judgy. This movie is such a big bomb, Ukraine could drop it on Russia and just end the whole thing. I want to talk about why this and why so many of Disney's other live-action remakes just tank at the box office. Now, this is just my opinion. I think I speak for a lot of people about this. I could be wrong, let me know. And it has nothing to do with it going woke or having the message. When you say you're going to make a live-action remake, we want a live-action remake. Not a reimagining, not a retelling. We want what made us feel so magical in 2D animation to come to life, so we can feel like we're really immersing ourselves in that world that we love so much. But for some reason, Disney doesn't understand that.
Before a single frame was shot, red flags were waving. Disney poured millions into reviving a legacy-pairing rising star, Rachel Zegler, with Wonder Woman icon Gal Gadot. The plan? Modernize a 1,937 classic for today's audience. But insiders say the vision was fractured from the start. Early rewrites shifted the core message. No more prince, no damsel in distress. Snow White wasn't waiting
overshadowing the film's promotion itself. This isn't just about one
It sounded empowering.
Now, just 3 weekends into release,
It felt like a
she's been
studio
left out in the
rewriting
cold.
nostalgia
500
with an
theaters.
agenda.
No
The
one from
film's made
Disney is stepping in to
$168
support her.
globally
No
so
public
far.
defense. Nowhere near
No
enough to
push
break
to
even.
shift
the blame.
Rachel Zegler
And
has
as the numbers
usually been
collapse,
backed by
the
Disney,
silence
and
from the
this
studio
isn't a
says
rumor.
everything.
The Snow White star
The same studio that once positioned Zegler as the new face of their live-action empire is now watching from a distance while the film sinks. And while she takes the heat alone, critics have turned, fans are bailing. Snow White is falling apart right in front of her, and Disney seems more focused on protecting its brand than protecting
for liking it. Then came the political chaos. Rachel basically shouted "Free Palestine" next to Israeli co-star Gal Gadot during a Disney press event. In a single moment, she turned a kids' film into a geopolitical controversy. They even canceled a $10 million Disney World event.
Zegler stirred the pot when she criticized the original 1937 Snow White.
She torched the movie's image, then insulted the fans, and even hijacked the spotlight.
The other fought for a message-heavy makeover. And as these differences spilled into
2025,
according to her, the film, if that's not humiliating for a lead actress, I don't know what is.
And more like a ticking time bomb. Then came the reshoots. Lots of them. Directors couldn't agree on tone. Producers changed visual styles midway. Even the dwarfs were scrapped and replaced by CGI hybrid sand odd decision that confused audiences and critics alike. Budgets ballooned, from an already eye-watering $200 million to a rumored $300 million, thanks to delays, rewrites, and digital touch-ups. By the time the final cut was locked, insiders say executives were already bracing for disaster. While the movie struggled in post-production, Zegler's social media became a lightning rod. Old posts resurfaced. Interviews were dissected. Every comment she made about the story's changes added more fuel to the fire. Critics pounced. Go woke, go broke, they said. And suddenly, the film wasn't just entertainment, it was a battleground in the culture wars. Disney scrambled to change the narrative, but by then, the online mob had already chosen its villain. Then, the rumors got darker. Whispers began to circulate Zegler was considering legal action. a potential $100 million defamation lawsuit against Gal Gadot. Allegedly, Gadot had blamed her co-star for the film's implosion in closed-door conversations. The gossip? Explosive. The facts? Murky. But even the suggestion of such a lawsuit added a soap opera layer to an already chaotic production. Early screenings didn't help. Attendees reported a disjointed mess. Critics said the film lacked heart. The chemistry between the leads was flat. The messages felt heavy-handed. And worst of all, kids the core Disney audience just weren't interested. Some said it felt more like a lecture than a fairy tale. Others couldn't get past the visuals calling it uncanny, plastic, and soulless. Disney, in a panic, dumped more money into re-edits and marketing, but it was like patching a sinking ship with duct tape. Finally, the moment of truth. The film opened to disaster. A $72 million weekend, not even close to what was needed to break even. Theaters sat empty. Reviews were brutal. Industry analysts declared it one of the worst box office bombs in Disney's history. Internally, executives reportedly shifted blame. Creative teams distanced themselves. And investors? Furious. Zegler, once the bright hope of a new Disney era, now faced an uncertain future. And Gadot, through much of the drama, quietly faded from the promotional circuit.
Honestly, nobody works harder than me for Rachel Zegler and trying to clean up her image. She's America's sweetheart. I fully believe that to my core.
Weird.
But it's like, no matter what anybody does, she just cannot win.
The film debuted in 8th place with a disappointing 2.1 million from 2,108 theaters. The film also earned a dismal C- on CinemaScore and a 44% rotten average on Rotten Tomatoes. One other interesting note here is that Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, which is a 10-year-old film, re-released in theaters this weekend and is in the top 5.
And the budget's only $15 million, and it didn't get much marketing. It probably only needs to make like 30 or 40 million for it to be a success. And I mean, these numbers, and we're going to go over them, are really bad. It shows you just how disposable Rachel Zegler really is, which is why it's just crazy.
Rachel Zegler continues to experience box office woes as her struggling horror comedy Y2K faced a massive 67% drop in its second weekend. When Y2K burst onto the scene, it earned a paltry $2.1 million, far less than anyone would expect from a movie featuring someone Hollywood has tried to position as a rising superstar.
I didn't see a lot of advertisement for this film, and why would you bother? You've already got somebody who creates their own advertisement or promotion. It's almost always all negative, and there was no chance this thing was going to turn the corner. So likely the studio A24 sold this off well in advance to multiple locations just to eke out the budget and a small profit. At least I hope for their sake they did, because I don't think this is going to make much more. This is one of those films that hits the box office, completely fails, and everybody walks away from it.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Rachel Zegler is one of the most controversial women within Hollywood, and she is box office poison. Every project she's touching lately has turned to trash, and now her latest movie, Y2K, has bombed at the box office with a measly $2 million opening. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I do not like Rachel Zegler. her. I don't really like anything that she's in, and I just do not think that looking to the future, she's going to be in a lot of projects after this latest wave, because after Snow White, while I'm sure she's going to do one or two other things, I just don't see her ever really being a non-controversial actress.
In the end, Snow White 2025 became more than a failed film. It was a perfect storm of ambition, controversy, and corporate miscalculation. What was meant to reimagine a classic became a cautionary tale about what happens when storytelling collides with ideology, and when Hollywood underestimates the very audience it's trying to reach. And if there's one lesson Disney learned the hard way, it's that even fairy tales can turn into nightmares.